Hello and welcome back to Webcast News. Let's get started. First is some slightly worrying news. The NHS have recorded their worst waiting times in around about a decade, with only 92.6% of people being seen in the first 4 hours of them arriving, which is the target for them to try to get to see them, and the target percentage is set at 95%. This was for October 2014 to December 2014 and is the worst numbers recorded since the targets were brought in at the end of 2004, and the targets were actually dropped in 2010 from 98% to 95% because the 98% wasn't being met. This is, however, only the second quarter of a year that has actually fallen below the 95%, which started in 2010, and that was January to March 2013. Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt has said that it is proving very difficult to try to get to see everyone who has a health problem. And also saying that England and the UK actually do have some of the highest targets in the world. However, Shadow Health Secretary Andy Burnham has said that it is putting people at high risk. So let me get your view on this. Do you think doctors should see less people but with higher quality treatment, or more people but with possibly a lower quality of treatment? Or is there another idea that you have? Let me know in the comment section down below. Now for some weird news, and it involves Lord Alan Sugar. Alan Sugar has infuriated the fans of 23-year-old plus-sized model Elena Rowney because he tweeted at her calling her a fatty. Now there is actually a backstory behind this. He didn't just randomly tweet her saying, "Hey fatty," you know. There is actually a backstory, it's a pretty obvious one. Elena Rowney decided to tweet at Lord Sugar saying, "Evening Sugar," with a winky face, because that makes everything better. "Can I call you that? Lol." Lord Sugar's witty reply was, "Yes, no problem, as long as I can call you fatty." And then he apparently blocked her. This brought a mass uproar, and around about 1,400 people have retweeted the tweets, with around about 900 favourites on them as well. It's also prompted a big reaction from Miss Rowney herself, who has demanded an apology from Lord Sugar and said that he does not deserve the Lord in front of his name. The reason she even sent the first tweet to Lord Sugar, apparently, is because, according to her, she is a big fan of the BBC show The Apprentice. Although, she's not anymore. I have to say, 1, I doubt Lord Sugar even knew who she was. 2, that kind of tweet, which sounds, a bit dodgy, to a 67-year-old man. Pretty sure he doesn't want that. However, in all of this, I'm in no way condoning what Lord Sugar said, because you shouldn't just go around, or even on the internet, calling people fat, because it is shaming them, and it's just not very nice. And finally, I thought I'd end on quite a heartwarming and amazing story. Mary and Paul Morris are the parents of now 1-year-old son Jet Morris. But this is an amazing story because of what happened for his birth. Just over 4 months into Mary's pregnancy, her waters broke, so she was basically giving birth to him only 4 months in of the 9. This pregnancy then basically lasted 5 more weeks before she actually gave birth to Jet. But during these 5 weeks, doctors and nurses were persistent in saying that the baby needed to be terminated because there was basically no way it was going to survive. Parents say that at one point, the doctors basically gave them 5 minutes to even consider the fact that the baby would be terminated before they had an operating table in front of her and were ready to take her into the theatre for an operation. Thankfully, as we know now, Mary refused the surgery. Even after that though, nurses kept calling her saying that they needed to stop the baby from being born because they didn't know what kind of damage it could do to her, and the likelihood of the baby being alive was so small. However, they stood by it, and on January 5th, 2014, Mary gave birth to her son Jet, who weighed just 1.4 pounds and was smaller than his father's hand. Obviously now we know that in a miraculous recovery, Jet survived and is now a perfectly healthy 1-year-old boy. Obviously was back in the news because it was his first birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to you, Jet Morris, and congratulations to both Mary and Paul. So there, I thought I'd end on a nice heartwarming story today, because we all need a bit of heartwarming, you know. That's the wrong side. There we go. We've got it. And as I've said, that is the end of today's video. Hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And as always, thanks for watching.